Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Right off the gate, I don't know where my microphone is, but more importantly, I didn't even attempt to look for it. I forgot. Good morning, y'all. Today is Tuesday, September 16th. On my way to the office. I'm not at the, where am I supposed to be? I'm not at the highway yet. I'm about to be there. Whew. What's up with y'all? How was y'all evening? How was Monday? Did you get pissed off? Did you let Monday? You got to actively fight against Mondays, y'all. We all do. But here we are, living to fight another day. Today's Tuesday. I'm hoping y'all can hear. I'm going to be annoyed if I have to. I probably need to get another microphone anyway, just so that when this happens, I'm ready and I have another one. But the microphone that I bought, that little thing that I bought, it came with 2 pieces. But of course, here comes Sophia, trying to jap me for my stuff. I ain't seen the microphone. I didn't even get a chance to open it. She japped me for it. And then one day when I was, her room was a tornado and I went in there to go crazy, I had found it. And then, I had to interrogate her, treat her like a hostile witness. Till she finally told the truth. And it's like, the truth will do. Especially with me. It's so much easier. But, speaking of Sophia, we have, this weekend is her cheer off event. And so they looking good, but, I'm tired because like last night they had practice from 6 to 8. Tonight they have mock cheer off. And then she has cheer practice Wednesday and Thursday. And I think a game on Saturday. And then the cheer off event is on Sunday. So for me, it's like, do I need to take Monday off? Or I think me and her might need to both take a day off and just lay down all day. Like, what? But that's not realistic for her. Lord knows I can lay down all day. If I get an opportunity to lay down, that's what I'm going to do. But, so I'm already tired just thinking about it. I'm like hoping I got everything packed for her. Because as soon as I get to her after school, I gotta get her changed in the bathroom, and then we gotta get to the up to the high school so that they can practice, and then they let the parents in, and then we watch all of these grades go through the routine that they're going to go through, and hopefully like place first, second, third, whatever. Last year they won. So Sophia's in 3rd grade, so for 3rd grade they won 2nd place. So we're hoping that they will win 1st place this year for 4th grade. And I will say, we played Buford last week, I think, and the boys did beat them. But the cheerleaders, our boys beat them, but their cheerleaders did pretty good. I was like, ooh, their cheerleaders did pretty good. But so the plan is to win 1st place. That's the plan. But anywho, guys, let's talk about the past for a second. Because you know how, there's various conversations and things like that going on online. And I know we all of us who scroll and look and you see what people are saying, we all have our opinions of what we think about that. Whatever the topic is. But I wanted to talk about the way that they say, like a lot of people don't want to be, most people, if not all people, don't want to be judged for their past, right? And I understand that. I do get that. I really do. But your past is also what they call like historical data, right? And they say that Past behavior is a predictor, or one of the predictors to future behavior, right? And that's true as well. That's true as well as having to consider, which is usually not on the table for discussion, but the current behavior, right? So you have your past behavior, and you don't want anybody to judge you for your past, and you want them to not judge you to the point where they would believe that you've changed for the future. But what are you doing right now in the present? Is what you're doing, if what you're doing in the present reflects anything of your past behavior, then it could be assumed that future behavior is going to be the same as your past. If you're doing your past behavior right now, because it's not the past, it's the current. If you're doing that. What is my point here? It's imperative that you use past behaviors, ideas, information. It doesn't have to be your end-all be-all that you use to determine what you're going to do, how you're going to move forward. But it should be a part. It should be on the table for consideration for sure. Okay? An example of this is once a cheater, always a cheater. Once a thief, always a thief type of thing. Okay? A person who steals, a person who always lies is, you want people to believe that, you don't lie anymore. Well, everybody lies. Anybody saying they don't lie is proving my point right there. Okay? Now, what's interesting about me even saying that is every time I say anything to Sophia, she's always fact checking me, right? And I'm always like, I don't have to lie. And it's true, I don't have to. But do I or can I lie in life? Yes. Will I? Yes. I will if I feel the need to. Okay? So that's my self-awareness at work. I will never lie and make it seem like I don't lie. I do lie when I want to. That's how my lying works, that I'm able to just be like, but I don't like to lie a lot because I don't feel like I have anything to prove to anybody, and I don't need anybody's validation. So that's one of the huge reasons why I don't like lying and why liars get on my nerves or whatever. Now, no one has lied to me, okay? Nobody's lying to me, but that I know of or that I'm listening to. Like, I'm not currently listening to anybody telling any lies. And that's across the board when I say anybody. That I, except, obviously the regime. Now, they're definitely lying. They're definitely lying. If you need a class on how to lie, you could watch the current regime that we're under, and you could get this is a master class in lying is what we're getting from the top, okay? So if you want to learn how to be a liar, you could definitely just watch our regime, watch anybody in the administration, and they will show you how lying looks like, how you could perfect it. But yes, past behavior is a predictor of future behavior, especially if current behavior has not changed. Now, maybe it's changed a little bit. Maybe you don't lie and do things or steal as much as you used to. Maybe you don't, But have you fully crossed over to the other side? Have you completely gotten over? I don't know. I'd have to say no. You know what I mean? I would have to say no. But here's what's important about the idea of past behavior and predictions of future behavior and how you're making decisions based on these ideas, okay? When it comes to this, nobody, and I mean nobody, is changing for anybody, okay? Change is an inside job, and I don't care if you're changing so that you could be a villain. It's an inside job. Nobody's making you a liar. Nobody's making you a cheater. Nobody's making you a thief. Nobody is making anybody do anything, okay? That doesn't mean that I don't get the whole idea of being triggered or, having conversations with people and something gets said and you get upset. Of course, that happens all the time. But it's always going to be your responsibility on how you respond to it. Always. There is no such thing as you made me. Okay, I've heard that several times over, especially in like the dating realm. You know, somebody made you act like or do this, and it's like, okay, but I can't seem to make you do nothing else except shit that pissed me off, right? Yeah, that's how we both know I didn't make you do anything. Because if I can make you do something, you would be doing what I want you to do and not what we arguing about right now. Okay, so that's number one. But nobody changes for anybody. People always change for themselves. Because you have to get to a point in order to change to where whatever's going on needs to stop more than whatever it is you got, whatever it is you're doing. That has to be like the main focus of whatever change happens in your life, is because whatever is going on, you absolutely need it to stop, or you need the change to happen. And that's when you finally go to make your change. That's when you finally see people go and you see them make their change. But nobody is changing for anybody. Now let's get an example of what that could be. You know, when people when you talk about romance and relationships, right? And let's say you're dating somebody, and however they're acting or their personality, right? And then it falls apart, things like that. You see them get into another relationship, and then people try to tell themselves, this person brings this out of me. Okay? Now, the question is, or the point here is, no one's bringing anything out of you, okay? That's not how that works, guys. And I promise you, you already have the personal experience and the experience of others to know that's not true. You're not making anybody do anything. Nobody's bringing anything out of you, okay? You're being who you are. And when the time comes, who you are will still be there, okay? So, an example, you're dating. And it's 3 months, and you're thinking, not me, you know, they didn't treat me like this. I'm bringing something else out of them. Some people tend to bring other things out of other people. No one's bringing, no. When you hit the 3 month mark, who the person is begins to get revealed. The 4th month, whatever the time frame is. What is my point, y'all? What is my point? My point is, everywhere you go, there you are. Okay? Everywhere you go, there you are. Who you are as a person will always reveal itself, no matter how much you fight to keep it. You're not going to be able to keep up any facade that you're putting on. Okay? Your slip will show. And when it does, what is my point to y'all? That's the time when you get to make your decision. Not sitting around waiting for somebody to change for you. Change is an inside job. No one's going to change for you. No one's going to do anything for you when it comes to their behavior and their personality. No one's doing that. That's not how that works. Unless, of course, they're schizophrenic and have different personalities. It's giving, where's the DSM-5? Okay? I need a diagnosis here. No one's changing for anybody. That's not how that works. Okay? More importantly, another factor we have to factor in, right? I'm talking to my friends and family on Facebook, right? Almost just about every single person that's on my Facebook list as a friend, I've come in contact with, right? At some point, and that's how come we became friends on Facebook. I know you, right? Or I've known you before or whatever, from my past, whatever. Whereas my Instagram followers or something like that, I don't know y'all. I don't know my YouTube followers. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, different platforms. No one's changing for you. You are who you are. And it's imperative to be okay with that. But my point about the friends and family thing is, we have to remember and we have to factor in our age. I know we all think that we're younger than we are, and we're not. And so my point about the age is, we have to be further along, and we should be further along in the conversation than where we always find ourselves. Okay? No one's changing for you. I'm 47. I'm not making any adjustments to be with anybody. Not no real adjustments. Like, what are we talking about? I'm 47. A huge part of how I operate and do things is just the way it is. I got to be accepted. You got to accept it. And you got to find the good parts of other people and realize the other parts that you may not care for, it doesn't make it a bad part. It just makes it a part that you have to work around or work with. And you get to decide whether you want to do that or not. No pressure. There shouldn't be any pressure. But more importantly, when you validate yourself, no one can pressure you. Because you don't need anybody to co-sign off of anything that you do or say. Am I right or am I right? Everything is working in tangent in what I'm saying. Okay? Don't forget that, guys. Don't forget that, okay? Past behavior is a predictor of future behavior, and no one is changing for you. You get the best version of another person when you meet them at first, and then who they are starts to reveal itself. And then you can determine whether or not who they are is the person you want to be bothered with or not. But never be under the impression that you're dealing with somebody and they've changed for you and they didn't act like that with me. They will. Because if they can act like that at all, they're going to act like that with you eventually. And I'd be willing to bet that anybody that could hear what I'm saying knows exactly what I'm talking about and has experienced this. What is my point there? Therefore, on your next go round, don't be delusional about your experience. Let your own past behavior be a predictor of your current behavior, and then you'll be able to make the adjustment. You should be able to make the adjustment when you accept what goes on, how things are, how you participated in it, and then how you can choose to participate in a different way. But it's never going to be because somebody else got you doing it. It's only ever going to be because you want to do it. And wanting to do it and doing it, whew, the distance there is astronomical. You know what I mean? Depending on what the change needs to be and things like that. Some people just are how they are. Okay? Some people just cheat. Some people just lie. Some people have never been faithful to anybody they've ever been with. And when you come along, you'll get your 6 months too. You'll have your honeymoon phase too. Okay? It doesn't have to be a deal breaker if you don't want it to be. It can be whatever you want it to be because you're the one participating. Right? I'm telling you. Now, something else I wanted to touch on, which I thought was interesting, was I saw somebody say that like black men are the most involved fathers, and there's supposed to be a study that came out. Now I remember this from a couple of years ago, and it was being said, and the study was from the CDC. And if I can, I'm gonna go back and find that study today and report back on Friday with my findings, because I made it a point to read that study, and if I can remember correctly, only like 10,000 people were surveyed, right? 10,000 people is not enough to make that a statistic, okay? It's not. What is my point? If black men are the most involved demographic in their children's lives, then there isn't a damn thing wrong with the single mother. There isn't a single mother epidemic. Because that would have to mean that single mothers are allowing their child's father to be around and do everything that needs to be done with no problem, which means single motherhood can't be an issue. If, in fact, allegedly, black men are the highest demographic that's involved with their children. If that's true, then single motherhood is not a problem. If it is, you can drop down in my comment and let me know how that works. Make it make sense. Okay? Make it make sense. So, part of my point about this is the nuclear family. Like I said, the idea of the nuclear family came about in the 50s. It is not anything biblical. It's not anything that you go back and there's no historical document trying to get you to have a mother, father, and then family with the white picket fence and the dog. It's a fantasy. And that's why most people don't have it. It's a fantasy. Okay? It's a fantasy that we've all been indoctrinated to believe exists. And everyone that's in relationships and trying to be in relationships wants to be married, wants to have a nuclear family. You're still in the fantasy. You still live there. I'm not judging you for living there. I'm telling you to just get the hell out of there. It's not judgment. It's just that it's like, enough. You know what I mean? Enough. But yeah, there's no reason to believe that a nuclear family absolutely means there's going to be a certain result that you get for trying to establish that. You lose a lot of yourself trying to establish anything with most people, because in order to love anybody, you have to take some of who you are, and you got to take your love, some of your love, off the table in order to give it to somebody else. That's just a fact. That's just a fact, you know. And an example of that is when people are together for a long time and they break up, and then one of the people normally has a glow up, and that's usually the woman. Suddenly she lost weight, she cuts her hair, you know, and it's just like, why couldn't she do that when we together? Well, because of the love that I have, that I'm using for myself at 100%, I had to take 25% of that and give it to you in order for us to work, right? So that 25% of me not going to the gym, doing this, and it's not blaming anyone. It's just that when you really are in any relationship like that, you do have to give up some of who you are. Another example, everybody that I know is married. Well, not everybody. That's not true. Okay, but most people that I know that are married, and Lord knows I've been there myself, but when you're married, the whole compromise, you know, comes into play. And now when you have your girls' trips, now you can't hang out till 3 o'clock in the morning, right? This has nothing to do with age, or it's just that it's like whatever your girls' trips and whatever your hangout girls' nights look like, you on the hook instead of just being able to have your time with your friends. You on the hook for that. Personally, I'm too free, right? I'm too free. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to control anybody. I also don't have to hang out till 4 o'clock in the morning, but I also don't want to be harassed because I'm hanging out till 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be back. I'm not a crackhead. I'll be back. I'm not going to be gone for 5 days. Like, come on. You know what I mean? But that's the truth about tying yourself to somebody. Now, Eartha Kitt, I don't know if y'all ever saw the Eartha Kitt clip where a man is interviewing her, and he asked her about compromise, and she was like, compromise for what? And he's like, well, in order, you know, to have a relationship, to have a man. And she literally says, so a man comes into my life and I have to compromise? And then she dies laughing. And she was like, love is to be earned, not to be compromised for. Whew. Okay? All things considered. Now, if you're still living in a fantasy, right off the gate, you don't agree with that. And you immediately agree, or you immediately believe that you have to compromise. And what compromise always will be, if you don't know what compromise is or is really about, compromise is always going to be about you giving up something in order for something else to work or to happen. Stay with me. Compromise is about you giving up something in order to make something work or to make something happen. Hence, giving up a part of who you are, your love for yourself, your 100% that you have for yourself, you have to share that with somebody else, which means you have to take away from some of the things you do for yourself and how you may care about yourself or others in order to make this person feel comfortable or happy. We have to decide whether or not that works for us. Is that something you want to do? Do you want a relationship bad enough for that to be the case? Because every relationship that you've had, that's always been the case. And you know it just like I know it. If you're in a relationship now, you're compromising. You're giving up parts of who you are and what you want to do so that you can be with somebody. Some people give up their whole dream, all their ambition. Some that happens. You know what I mean? And, you know, most of us have all been there before. Most of us. And if you haven't been there, you've seen somebody else be there. And like I always say, you know, you don't really need to have the experience yourself in order to know what the outcome can be. I don't need to smoke crack to find out that I'm getting ready to steal all your equipment in your house, or, you know what I'm saying, knock you over the head so I can get my head. I don't need to smoke crack to know that that's the result. Okay? I don't need to do that. You know, just the same as certain things in relationships, I don't need to experience myself to know that that's not going to work for me. I can look at somebody else's and say, oh, not me, girl. Enough. You know what I'm saying? And so that doesn't mean that, you know, like for me personally, that I'll never be in a relationship. I'm not super hardcore. I'm a lovely lady. You know what I mean? I'm a nice lady. But I'm not, well, that's not true. I'm not a nice lady. I'm not. I'm a kind person, but I'm not nice. And that's the truth. That's the truth. It's not easy for me to be a person that goes along to get along. I don't really believe in that. I believe in, as I get older, I choose my level of comfort first. And then we'll see if there's anything left for anybody else. I don't, and no one is, I don't think it's selfish because nobody else is paying the price for that. Being selfish means that somebody else is taking an L based off of your choices, right? So for like women who don't want children or don't want to get married, it's not selfish because someone else isn't paying the price just because you don't want to do that. Now, the whole idea of keeping humanity going, enough, okay? I saw somebody had some clips talking about a UFO, a dangerous UFO. Harry, beam me up, Scotty. Let's go. I'm trying to be like this. Get me up out of here. Where is the dangerous UFO? Okay? Let's go. Okay? Let's get this Independence Day going. And I ain't talking about July 4th. Let's do it if that's happening. And so keeping humanity going for capitalism. Y'all know about capitalism, right? Let me turn this AC on for Perry come get me because I can feel all this talking I'm doing. But capitalism, you know, that's American culture. It's not necessarily black culture, but it's definitely American culture. You see how this Kia Sophia is pissing me off? Anyway, capitalism is about purchase. Capitalism is about money, purchasing power. That's another thing. Don't let anybody tell you money doesn't mean anything. Because what world do you live in? None of us got any. And that's the complaint. That's the problem. We don't have any money. We live in a capitalist society where we need money to do any and everything. Everything can be purchased. You know what I'm saying? Everything has a price, including people. Literally. Children. Capitalists. Okay? We're watching this in real time with the Epstein files. Now, I heard somebody say, as if you don't think the Epstein files has anything to do with capitalism, you know, you got to do some research and you got to do some more listening. You know what I mean? But somebody said about the Epstein files, if people believed women, we wouldn't be having this conversation about the Epstein files. Whew, that hit hard because you realize this is the reason why no one wants to tell when something happens to them in this kind of capacity, because no one's going to believe you, and then you have to give all these reasons why you was there. And like I said before with the whole Bill Cosby thing, you know, if I see my favorite, you know, superstar, actor, singer, rapper, whatever, if I see them and I have an opportunity to be with them, not have right now, but well, it depends on who it is. But anyway, but if you know, you see your favorite, you know, your celebrity crush or whatever, and they invite you to the room, are you going? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you're gonna go. So can you imagine Bill Cosby is big shit, okay? He black, it's the 80s, he's paid, he got a hit TV show, and he want me to come back to the room? Absolutely. Of course I'm going. I'm being a groupie. I'm being whatever the hell, whatever. Now, when I get there, my intent is to what? Sniff a little coke with him, drink a couple of drinks, and then we going to do the do. Only for me to get there, get something slipped in my drink, get the do done to me, and then I wake up, huh? Why is my coochie feeling like it feels? Why do my booty hole feel the way it feels? I know it's too early for this. But the point... I don't even know the point, no. Because I didn't just say the B word and the C word at 7:59. 7:59. Okay, so I'll be 5-10 minutes late. Maybe 5 to 7 minutes. We'll see. I'm going to have to get off the phone as soon as I park, y'all. But anyway, what the hell was my point? What was I saying? Because I just distracted myself way too much talking about the B and the C. Okay? But, yeah, so the point that I'm trying to make, even just with Bill Cosby, is this: if you my celebrity crush and I come to your house, I'm not expecting to be raped, sodomized, nothing. I'm here to be a groupie. I'm here to have a good time, and I don't want to find out the hard way that that's not. But again, we already know sexual assault is not about whether or not he could get other people. It's about letting you know that I don't need your permission to do this to you. That's the control. It's diabolical and it's pure evil. And that's what that's about. Oh, capitalism and how sexual assault and all that is all connected or whatever. And so Bill Cosby was a part of that too. The Epstein files, we don't believe people. So that was the point. You know what I mean? We don't believe people. So we got to wait all these years for the Epstein files to come out. He got to die in prison. We have to, you know, all type of stuff that's going on has to happen before we can get this list of people who's standing right here saying, hey, this happened to me. And y'all still want to see a list. You need a list, even though the human themselves are right there saying, hey, this happened to me. So because we don't believe women, we need to see a list. Okay? I mean, the 8.5 by 11s are out of their mind. Okay? Straight diabolical. What list? Is it in a Word? Is it in a Word? Is it in a spreadsheet? Is it in a Word document? Is it on a composition notebook? List? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Enough. Anyway. Y'all, I've had enough, okay? Enough. I'm already tired. But just so y'all know, like I said, don't play yourself, you know what I'm saying? And act your age. Act like, you know, let your age be, you know what I'm saying? Like, make it a point to let your age allow you to be more mature and be able to think past a certain point and do some critical thinking, okay? Nobody's changing for you. Nobody's changing for me. I'm not changing for anybody. And that's just the truth. A huge part of who we all are goes with us everywhere we go. There's no denying that. You can deny it if you want to, but the truth will prevail, you know? You know the truth, and it would be easier on you if you just snapped out of the fantasy you were in, accepted things for the way they were, and then rock out according to that. Okay? Rock out according to that. Okay? This is not about the process. It's a process of elimination, people, not a process of inclusion. Okay? This ain't no DEI situation. Okay? Okay, you could be particular, and if that means you're gonna have to wait longer, then that's what you should be doing. But thinking you're gonna be with somebody and they're changing for you and they're making all these changes for you, you're delusional. No one has ever changed anything for you, and no one ever will. They will only change for themselves, and the only way you can benefit is if you're the one there receiving the results of their change. But they're not doing a damn thing for you. Okay? And this is why it's imperative to choose yourself. When you choose yourself and you give yourself 100%, you likely will get some overflow. And then that was what you could share with other people. It's the same concept of pouring from an empty cup. Okay? If your cup is full, then you may be able to share what you have with other people once the overflow starts. Let me see where I want to park. I'm going to try it right here. I see this man right here. He was so mad. Yesterday we had a long meeting because everybody came back to the office, and he is pissed. He want to get back to the house. And I understand. They trying to get the people to retire and quit. And I want to do both. I want to retire and quit. But I need my check to clear more than anything every 2 weeks. And so I guess here I am at work. But anyway, y'all, go ahead and if you missed anything I said, rewatch what I'm saying. I'm not lying to y'all because I don't have to, even though I could. But again, please let your personal experience and the experience of others guide you. Okay? It's not about judging other people or making assumptions about other people. But again, past behavior is a predictor of future behavior. So it's not about, you don't have to, chop it up into little pieces and be like, well, I don't want to judge. You better be judging. If you're not judging, you're going to pay the price every time for not having discernment. That's going to be your fault every time. Because again, no one's going to change for you. You have to make the change. If you ain't been judging people the way you should, make the change and get the judging. Get to doing it. You will find yourself so relieved that whatever load you've been carrying, you'll be able to put some of that down and just realize that it's unfortunate. Okay? Past behavior is predictive of future behavior. Listen, when's the next mass shooter coming? Let's be real. This is not our country. I can't be gaslit. Okay? It's called slavery. It's called Jim Crow. It's called Reconstruction. This is how it is. Political assassination's been going on forever. Okay? It's just trippy that we're here and alive witnessing them now. And again, like I said, what just happened wasn't a political assassination. He wasn't even a politician. Okay? That was an execution and a murder. That's what happened. For whatever reason. But that's what happened. And so we could leave politics out of it. Just because you have political rhetoric doesn't make you a politician. And just because you commentate on politics doesn't make you anything. You know what I'm saying? And so right now I'm speaking. I'm not an expert in what I'm saying. This is just my belief that I'm sharing with y'all. And take it or leave it. You know, as they say, eat the meat and spit out the bones. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't listen to it. Anything you do like, take it into consideration on your next whatever. You know what I mean? Consider that. Make sure that's on the table for you to think about. But, you know, don't listen to me. Listen to your own experience. Watch the experience of others. And if you just accept what you've been through for what it is, what you see other people going through, it really will help you realize that you don't actually have to go through this again or do this again or let somebody be lying to you again or let somebody steal from you. Just go ahead and make the change. And when people say, you've changed, you can say, thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. I've been working really hard. Okay. Anywho, peeps, y'all have a good day. Don't let nobody piss you off. Today is only Tuesday, okay? We're trying to make it to Friday. Don't let nobody piss you off. It's not worth it, okay? Y'all have a good day, and I will do the same. And I will see y'all Friday, even though I might not be able to pay the whole $5 on Friday, but I will see y'all on Friday. I think I'm at least pay half. So I'll see y'all in the morning on Friday. Y'all be easy, all right? Peace out.